and welcome to this review of Seven. As always, I'm your host, Captain Jackhammer, and I thank you for joining me. Just as any director or writer who makes a chilling mystery or cat and mouse flick will always be measured up against the late great Alfred Hitchcock, anyone making a slow-paced crime thriller that features stomach-churning crimes will always be compared to either Thomas Harris or Jonathan Demme. The writer behind Seven is Andrew Kevin Walker, whose impressive list of horror movie credits include Brain Scan, 8mm, and Sleepy Hollow. The director is David Fincher, who debuted terribly with the disappointing Alien 3. How fortunate, then, that they both saved themselves with Seven. For Seven is a smashing good upset in the world of cinema. Seven grabs you with hooks unseen and takes you to parts unknown. In American Hollywood movie making, there is nothing like Seven. And that's a good thing. Morgan Freeman is Detective William Somerset. With 1 week left before retirement, he is assigned a new partner in the form of an immature, thrill-seeking Detective David Mills, played by Brad Pitt. And no, this never slides into Lethal Weapon territory. This movie marks the third time in my mind that I've had a chance to see Brad Pitt play a role that really defined him as an actor. The first time being 12 Monkeys and the second being Fight Club. Brad Pitt acts without caring over his pretty boy persona. As in 12 Monkeys and Fight Club, Brad is not afraid to be either ugly or unsexy in his role. Nowhere in this film is there a moment of poise. Pitt instead becomes the character David Mills, playing opposite the talented and skilled Morgan Freeman. And it was vital that Brad Pitt carry his half of the burden. Brad Pitt performs admirably alongside veteran Freeman, and these two together with their teamwork and conflicts produce a marvelous buddy movie whose every interaction rings true. These two men are on the trail of a demented serial killer, one who's killing people according to the punishments of the 7 deadly sins. The first to be found is an obese man who was killed by being forced at gunpoint to stuff himself with food until his digestive organs burst internally, thus killing him. The sophisticated but worldly Somerset finds that the murder may be more than what it appears, and with a second seemingly separate murder, the old detective sets himself on the trail of a serial killer. Unfortunately, no one else realizes that Somerset knows what he's talking about, despite his years of experience. Certainly not his new partner. He has yet to respect or earn the respect of Somerset. But then comes a third grisly murder, and each one is worse than the one before. The story and the pacing of the film takes us slowly down into the spiraling depths of the killer's depravity, sometimes appearing to wallow in it. The timed and careful movement of the film allows us to understand the severe nature of the various deaths as opposed to throwing the bodies at us in a gorehound love spree of, look what I could do. As such, the images of the death and suffering are that much more acute. The grim tale that unweaves before us takes us to places we not only didn't expect, but hoped the movie wouldn't go to. When all is said and done, the mystery of Seven is not who the killer is. There's never really any question about the identity. But how he will outsmart the police next, and what he will do to climax his killing spree. It's refreshing to find an intelligent maniac who's not undone by a moment of sheer stupidity. From beginning to end, Seven's murderer has the situation under control. The police are his pawns, not the other way around. And there are a lot of shades of Silence of the Lambs in this movie. The great makeup special effects artist Robert Botton brings his most skillful touch to this movie, making every victim as lifelike as possible. True to his nature of absolute realism, Robert sat through an actual autopsy prior to working on this film in order to get an accurate view of just how a body being investigated by a forensic specialist should look on the table. Botton has always been known as an artist who will work himself to exhaustion in pursuit of perfection, and he has always left us in awe. Bringing up the rear of the cast, but no less significant for that, is the role of Gwyneth Paltrow. She plays David Mills' wife, Tracy. She followed her man to the big city, but only for love and marriage. She hates it there and is unable to deal with her husband's increasing desire for glory. Also in the cast, and superb as always, is Kevin Spacey, in a role you won't soon forget. 7 gets a 10 out of 10. It's hard to say too much about this movie without giving it away. But let me say this. If you haven't seen this movie, do so. Today. You'll never look at mystery thrillers the same. Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Jackhammer, and I will see you next time.